What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Watch What You Say podcast. This is episode 6 titled Growing Pains. And boy, do we have a show for you. Hope that you took time out while we were on break and caught up with episodes 1 through 5. Really some good gems in there, but we are back and we are firing on all cylinders. And so I wanted to start it off with we took a break. I actually had a birthday. Shout out to all the Leos, Leo season, 820. And I flew to Houston, Texas, actually, to see my best friends and to see some family members. And it was a great time. I got to just get away, not think about work, not think about bills, not just have fun and relax and not really do too much. But I will say that the initial flight down was a little, it got on my nerves. Because we were supposed to depart at 11 a.m. I don't believe we departed until 2 in the afternoon. Because, unbeknownst to us, there was some mechanical issues going on with the plane. And of course, they have to do their safety checks and things like that, which is fine. So we board the plane and we're sitting there for an additional 20 minutes to a half hour. Mind you, there's air coming up from the bottom of the plane. And then all of a sudden we hear this and we start feeling the air conditioning. And so I guess it was the flight attendant or captain got on the intercom and said, "Folks, we are now ready to take off. Sorry about that. We had complications due to the air conditioning system. So now you can relax and enjoy your safe flight." So I say that to say that's a minor inconvenience because the American Airlines plane was one of those older planes. I'd say it's from the 90s because, as Mike was just illustrating to me before we started recording, that some of the planes still have the cigarette ashtrays. So you know how long ago that's been. So you know what type of plane that was. And you know most of the newer planes have the panel on the back of the seat where you can touch screen or watch your movies. Yeah, this didn't have that. So if you didn't have your iPad, your phone, or a book, or just went to sleep, you were just out of luck. But I digress. Texas was a great time. It owes me nothing. I got to see my family, got to see my big cousin, and got to see my best friends. One is an astrogeophys something, and the other one is a director of something. I should know these things, but whatever. But point of it is, got away, relaxed, had some me time, and don't forget to take me time for yourself. And it's always good to take time out for yourself. Sometimes you just need to go away, or even if you don't go away on vacation, if you just do a staycation, just take time out to reset, recharge, and restore yourself. So yeah, that was while we were away. And so like I said, we are back, and a lot has been going on in the world and in these United States. And before that, fall, the best time of the year, is here. I love fall. I think I love fall more than I love spring. I'm not a fan of summer, even though I'm clearly born in the summertime, because when it's too hot, you can't take everything off. You can't walk around naked. Well, some places you can, but for the most part, you have to be clothed and inside of air conditioning. When it's cooler like fall or in spring, you can always add more on to get comfortable, or take some off to be comfortable. So fall is here. It is the fourth quarter of the year, and I know the last episode of Get Your Ish Together, I talked about having SMART goals and doing a self-audit. And so I'm going to touch on that later on in this episode. But yes, it's fall, time to change wardrobes. It's time to throw out stuff again that does not serve you. Get rid of it. Stop living in chaos. Declutter, declutter, declutter. You'll feel lighter. You have a sense of purpose, and you will just feel better. You'll feel better. Now, I will say I have not, and I will not get the pumpkin spice latte thing until it's officially. Well, by the time you see this, it will be. So by the time you see this, I will have had my first pumpkin spice. Is my beer wet? Yeah, pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice latte from Wawa. They don't sponsor me, but I like Wawa coffee anyway. So yeah, what's up, folks? And so the topic for this episode, I think that everyone can relate to this, young or old, boy or girl, man or woman, anything in between. Growing pains. Growing pains. And no, I'm not talking about the 80s sitcom with Alan Thicke and Kirk Cameron. I don't even remember the theme song, but growing pains. Not talking about when you're going through puberty and you go from being 4'1" to being, 5'11", that stretch. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about growing pains in the sense of relationships. And that can be with yourself, with your parents, with your siblings, with your job, with your friend circle. As we grow in this life, there are going to be growing pains. There are going to be some challenges to our relationships, and relationships are always going to change. The one constant in life, aside from death, unfortunately, is change. Things are always changing. Things are always evolving. You will never be the same person you are from this. Let me put it this way. Every day you're evolving. Every day you're learning something new about yourself, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, good or bad. Every day there's a nuance to who you are as a human being. And so with growing pains comes some discomfort, comes some uneasiness, some hard conversations that have to be had. Sometimes it starts with looking at yourself in the mirror. That's the first acknowledgement of your growing pains. You are not the same person you were yesterday. You're not even the same person you were 5 minutes ago, let alone 5 years, 10 years ago. There's so much in life that you've gone through, that you've learned about yourself, that you've learned about other people. I know I spoke about, I think it was episode 2 or episode 3, and I talked about how we have to acknowledge that our parents are adults and that they have successes and hopes and fears, and that they're human beings just like we are. And they are certainly not perfect. And I'm sure that having conversations with my own, I know that there are things that they wish they would have done differently, mistakes that they wish they hadn't made, dreams that they wish they had gone out for, just anything. But we're all human. And so with that, part of the growing pains is knowing that we are all human. We are not infallible people. And so I just want to kind of touch on some of the characteristics of that. But it says generally growing pains, when it refers to relationships, it refers to the challenges and difficulties that people will experience as they adjust to each other and navigate the complexities of their partnership. So, like I said, it's really a two-way street with your spouse, your girlfriend, your job, your really your siblings, because those are your first friends and the first people that you fight with. And so you have to learn to bite your tongue sometimes, and knowing when to say things, what to say, what not to say, or how to say them. But I digress. A few characteristics of growing pains. One would be conflict and disagreements. People may face misunderstandings, disagreements, and conflicts as they learn about each other's needs, expectations, and communication styles. And so that makes me think of how people learn. Some people are audio learners, some people are visual learners, and so communication styles are different. Some people, you can just say something calmly and get your point across and have a discussion, and it's done. It's fine. Other people, arguments may ensue because they're hard-headed or you're hard-headed, and the only way that you can understand something is if you guys are yelling, which that's probably not the best thing, but it happens. Again, we're all different. And setting expectations for each other. You cannot and should not expect somebody else to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. And so those are some of the things that in regards to conflict and disagreements. And after that, you kind of have changes in dynamics. And so as individuals, we grow, we evolve. Our roles and responsibilities within our relationships will shift, can and will shift, leading to adjustments and challenges with these adjustments. And so, I think about one of the growing pains for me is seeing my parents get older. And my parents aren't old. They're 60 and 61, so they're not old by any means. But I look at my grandparents and I look at my older cousins and aunts and things like that, and how, because they're older, they are slowing down a little bit. And so not necessarily cognitively, but they just don't move like as fast as they used to. Their memories aren't as sharp as they were when they were 60 or 50, and that's okay, because that is a part of aging, a part of getting older. But it is also an adjustment for the children and grandchildren and the people who are in the position to care or interact with them on a daily basis. So the relationship dynamic changes. With if you're a parent and you have children, as your children get older, if you have children who are leaving to go to college, that in itself brings another level of adjustment and dynamic. Your child is no longer under your roof like they were 24/7. Now they are in, community, college, either away or they're in a dorm or something, or they're not home, or even if they are home, they are in college. And so there's a whole nother set of rules and regulations and things that they deal with. They're maybe staying out later, going with their friends, having boyfriends and girlfriends, and, staying out all night. Just those things that they may not have had be prior, but because of the growing pains, because of life's evolution, the dynamics shift. After that, we have kind of increased expectations. So in our relationships, there may be idealized expectations that we set for each other. I know parents have expectations of their children. I'm sure Mike is a father of two boys, and I'm sure that he, as a parent, as a father, has a set of expectations for how he wants his boys to turn out, just being good humans and loving people and smart and kind. I'm not going to speak too much for him, but you're right. Thank you. But yeah, so as a parent, you do have a expectation for your children, and you set the parameters and guidelines in how you raise them. And so too are the expectations that we have with our people around us, people who are in our ecosystem. Everybody comes to this life with a set of challenges and emotional baggage, things that are visible and things that are invisible. And so we have to be cognizant of where people may fall short, because sometimes they fall short not because they want to, but because of internal struggles that they may have, or because of parental issues or relationship issues, or just outside forces that will cause us to sometimes behave in certain ways. And so one of the things, as I'm learning as I get older, is that you have to unlearn a lot of things about yourself. You don't know all the answers. And with that, that is a hard pill to swallow, because sometimes we are very headstrong, and based on our set of degrees or street smarts or a combination thereof, we know the right answer. We got the T-shirt and can tell people what it is, but that is not always so. So we have to manage our expectations with each other and with ourselves. I know for myself, there are times when I have set the expectation to get something done, or we'll stick with that, to get something done. And I set the bar here. And then when I don't meet it, I will be hard on myself, and I will sometimes shut down. And while I can wear the face of, oh, everything's all great, but in my private time, it's like, when you talk to yourself, it's like, oh, you idiot, like dummy, why didn't you get this done? Or, you should have done better, or you knew better than that. So managing your expectations for yourself, being kind to yourself, having grace and mercy for yourself, because you are still learning. Now, having said that, there are some things that that are just right and wrong, and you just know better. There are just certain behaviors and certain ways that you deal with people that you come on now, like, better. You were raised correctly, mostly. And so you have to manage your level of expectation, starting with you, and then turning that to your other relationships. With the management of expectations comes emotional turbulence. Emotional turbulence. And that just makes me think about the turbulence that we experienced on that flight that was delayed. But I'm not going to keep going back to American Airlines. But anyway, emotional turbulence. Growing pains can bring about an intense set of emotions such as anger, sadness, anxiety, and doubt. I know, as a creative and as, an actor on my actor's journey, musician, and just in even everyday life, there is an amount of anxiety, definitely an amount of doubt, because, you kind of, whether you don't mean to do it, but you find yourself sometimes putting your race up against somebody else's. And I'm not talking about your color, but I'm talking about your life's purpose and your calling and why you're here. And you may see, especially in the age of social media, you see that sometimes there are people who are where you want to be, or seemingly where you want to be. And then you kind of hate on yourself, like, why am I not there yet? Or what am I doing wrong? Or what can I do better? And it sometimes, or maybe it's not meant for me, or maybe I should go and do something else. And that can be in any, you can use that in any situation. But emotional turbulence, it becomes a balancing act, because you're going to have these emotions. You're going to have doubt. Doubt is just a part of being a human, and life's going to life. And so when life's, it kind of tries to thwart your purpose and throw those pebbles and stones in your path that try to trip you up. Anxiety, because, thinking about the state of the world, there's internal anxiety and there's external anxiety. Like, oh my gosh, you have what's going on in the world, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in your neighborhood, what's going on in your family, what's going on with you. And you're trying to balance all of these sets of emotions, which will lead to sometimes anger at yourself, anger at people, anger at God, anger at the situation, and sometimes sadness, because in that you find that sometimes it's just not going to work out. Doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you aren't on the right path. It just means that these things are going to happen, because it's life. And then with that, it can lead to a sense of disconnection, and people may feel disconnected from each other as they grapple with each other's individual issues and challenges that we have. Like I spoke to earlier, we all have our own sets of thoughts and failures and dreams and hopes and things that we wish we would have done differently. That's just a part of life. So with all those things working together, it will create a sense of this disconnect between you and those around you, especially those who you are in deep relationship with. But having said that, I want you to understand that growing pains are important. And while growing pains can be really uncomfortable, truly, truly uncomfortable, they are a normal part of our lives, and they're a normal part of healthy relationships. And they provide opportunities for us to, one, learn and adapt. Life is always evolving. And so when you learn that by facing and overcoming challenges, people can strengthen their communication skills, build trust, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. And I'll speak to that a little bit later when I talk about therapy. But communication skills, building trust, which is so, so important to have, because when you can trust someone with information, when you can trust someone with who you are, then that will alleviate some of the anger and the anxiety and some of the doubt, because you'll have people in your corner who are rooting for you and will push you to root for yourself when you don't want to root for you. So after learning and being adaptable, you grow individually and you grow together. Again, change is the only thing that's constant. So I've grown just in the 6 episodes of this podcast. I actually had this podcast idea for almost a year. Yeah, I had it for almost a year. And so with my doubt and anxiety, I kept putting it off. I don't have the right equipment. Or I had some of the equipment and then I didn't want to take time to learn it. And if I learn it, then I could be using that time to do something else, and just kept pushing it off. And then finally said, you know what? I have something to say and I really have to do this. I cannot let this go. I have to take the first step. So in May, well, a little bit more than May, I reached out to my friend here, Mike, and started talking about, hey, I have this idea for this podcast, and, would you like to help me? I know you've had experience in all of this stuff, and I don't want to be the person to do all the technical stuff. I just want to be able to sit here and develop the ideas, and we can feed off each other. But I want to be able to present information as I see it and as I feel it to heal myself and to heal anyone who sees or hears this. And he decided to come on this journey with me. 1, because he's already my friend. And then 2, he also played guitar for me when I've done performances. He's an excellent guitar player. And 3, our ambitions align in terms of what we wanted to do outside of what our day jobs were. So that is essentially part of my growing pains, getting out of my own way and starting this podcast. And so I hope that part encourages you to just take that step. And then also, it deepens the connection. So by navigating through all of these, challenges that we go through together, people develop a deeper understanding of one another, and they develop a solid, genuine appreciation for one another and for all of our idiosyncrasies and all of our shortcomings, but also the things that make us smile, the things that allow us to light up in rooms and light up in the lives of the people that we are in relationship with, thus by creating a stronger, healthier bond. So kind of in conclusion of talking about growing pains are a natural part of life, part of relationships, and they can lead to personal, professional, and relational growth. And it is always important to acknowledge and embrace when these challenges happen, again, because you are going to change. Things are going to happen. Relationships change. Dynamics in families change as people get married and have children, move out of state. People transition to the afterlife. Babies are born. People change jobs. Just all types of things happen that are in the season of growing pains. It's a constant. So embrace these challenges. Work through them with grace, with empathy, and sometimes sympathy, and view growing pains as opportunities to strengthen your relationships and partnerships. September is recognized as Mental Health Month. Yes, Mental Health Month. And so how fitting, because again, there's so many things going on in the world, just so much death, destruction, chaos, and just, I feel like we have forgotten how to love one another, how to be civil to one another, how to find commonality in our disagreements, to find, to be able to disagree with ideas and ideals, but not the humanity of a human being. And I think we're just in such a crazy time and I think you have to, one of the things that as I get into this, one of the things that I'm learning to do is to not take in so much. And I know that is hard to do because we live in a 24/7, 365, sometimes 66 news cycle. And so you have not only your broadcast news channel, then you have streaming news, and then you have your social media clips and highlights and all that kind of stuff. And so if you're not careful, you will take all of this stuff in, and it will begin to cause anxiety, for one, and it will begin to also affect your mood, affect how you deal with other people. Sometimes you'll end up finding yourself having an attitude or being angry with people, and it's actually not their fault. It's just because of the fact that you've taken in so much information. And so I would encourage you that not just in this month, because this month is almost over, but just in general, to limit your intake of news, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, or no aisle at all, or just limit what you intake. And now I'm not saying be naive and be ignorant and be misinformed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you don't have to watch the news every day. You don't have to watch 5 and 6 episodes of all these people telling you that the world is on fire. We know that the United States is on fire. We know, but you can only do what you can do around you, in your community, in your ecosystem. And so I would encourage you to, as I have done, to limit my news intake, to limit who I see on social media, accounts that I follow, just for sanity and peace of mind. I still see what's going on. I do. And I do pop in, and I do have my certain things places that I go to get information from primary and secondary sources, because I don't believe in just having one source. And so doing so has helped to greatly decrease my level of anxiety, my not that I'm an angry person, because I'm not, but just that on edgeness that we kind of feel like we all are on, because there's so much going on. And I'm not saying be out of sight, out of mind stuff. Again, stay informed, but you do not have to take it all in every single day. Go for a walk, watch a movie, binge watch a series. I don't know, find a series from the 90s, something just to break up the what's in the zeitgeist and the ethos. But I digress. Like I said, September is recognized as Mental Health Month, highlighting the important observances such as unalived prevention. Well, I guess I don't know. I guess I can say suicide prevention. I don't know. Mike will bleep that out if so. But Suicide Prevention Month, Self-Care Awareness Month. Who would have thought? September is Mental Health Month, Self-Care Awareness Month, and Suicide Prevention Month. Aimed at promoting mental health awareness and support. And so, what is the importance of mental health in the month of September? One, we're raising awareness because September serves as a platform to educate the public about mental health issues, reduce stigma, and promote resources available for support. It encourages individuals to take proactive steps in caring for their mental health and supporting others in their community. And so one of the things that I have done, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, is that I'm in therapy. And I've been in therapy now. I started last May. So I hate math. How many months is that? May to May is 12. 16? I don't know. May, June, July, August, September.
15, 16 months.
Ha! Take that. Yeah, anyway. But yes, I've been in therapy, and so it has been one of the best things that decisions that I've made in my adult life. It has also been frustrating because twofold. One, I have gone through did it do it again? It might be my beard oil. It might be my beard oil. But see, I lost my. What was my train of thought? Wait a minute.
How many therapists?
Thank you. See, that's why you have a good producer like me. How many therapists? So I've had 1, 2, 3. I've had 3 therapists in this time, and I'm getting ready to have a 4th. And so what's frustrating about this is it's not my fault. It really isn't. So they all, my first therapist left the practice. Okay. So then I go to another one. That person decided to do private study, left that one. And then the most recent one, who I thought was the perfect, the fit, handing in their resignation. And at first I said, you know what? I'm going to say F this. I am not about to go back and get on nobody's couch. Again, not that I was on that couch, but I'm not going to go and do therapy anymore, because every time I start to get somewhere, 7 months, and then 7 months, 3 months, 5 months, then they're leaving. Everybody's entitled to their own individual, things, and they have to do what they have to do for their own life. So I'm not, I know that ideally. So again, growing pains, I have to adjust to that. At the same time, as a person who is attempting to do the work, to show up for myself, to show up for my family and friends, and do what I need to do so that I am in a right headspace, so that way I can accomplish my purpose and handle life's anxieties day to day with the right coping mechanisms. It is a frustrating thing to have to get a new therapist. And even though they are able to, take the notes and go over, but there's a familiarity that you get when you are speaking with a therapist, when you've grown comfortable with a therapist. But then when they leave, well, now it's uncomfortable, because now I have to get introduced and build a rapport with a new therapist. And so, again, that speaks directly to growing pains. But I'm not going to stop. I truly believe that therapy, for me, has been one of the best things that I have done. I've noticed the growth. Other people have noticed the growth. I have my moments where I want to say, F this, I'm tired of this. But I understand that my life is not my own, that me living, me succeeding, me persevering, me pushing forward, even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of uh, just life, that somebody is watching. And so for anybody who's watching this, know that your life, and I know I've said this countless times, but your life means something. Someone is watching you, someone that you know is watching you, and there are people that you don't know that are watching you, because you are an example of resilience. You're an example of perseverance. You're an example of what it means to push forward in the absence of help, or push forward with God, to push forward when life is coming at you like a ton of bricks. You are a light to someone. And so I want you to be encouraged that you matter, that your life matters, that it will always get better, that every day that you're able to go to sleep and wake up and open your eyes is a brand new day. Should be a fresh reset. It should be a thank God that I am here again, because that means I still have purpose. That means I still have something to fight for, to love for. And so that builds community engagement. And so there are various events, workshops, and campaigns that are organized throughout the month. Again, the month is almost over, so you probably have about a week or so left of September. No, maybe a little bit more than a week. But there's, different events that encourage and foster mental health awareness. And these initiatives aim to create a culture where discussing our mental health is normalized, is every day, and that people seeking help can be encouraged. My mother deals with mental health issues, and it's been a 27-year battle, I believe, 27-year battle, with its highs and lows, but she has successfully been doing what she needs to do for herself to maintain her mental health. And so in my family, there's several other people who have had diagnosed mental illnesses, and then some that have not been so severe, and then some severe. And so mental health awareness hits home to me, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go into therapy, because I felt that in my mind, I was afraid. I thought that, in my life, that there could be something that happens that will be like the straw that broke the camel's back. That, whatever situation that may happen may be the thing that causes me to snap or just not be there, or just become different. And I didn't want that to happen. So knowing my family history, and especially having direct lineage through my mother, I decided that the best thing for me to do was to get into therapy, so that way I could be able to talk through my feelings, talk about things that happen in life as a child, as an adult, and also as an artist, as a creative. We're special anyway. And so we deal with a lot, we take in a lot of energy, and we give energy. And so to be able to have a place other than how you express yourself, because I believe that our art, our expression through art, whether it's, acting or music, television, whatever your creative medium is, that is a form of therapy as well. But at the same time, this takes it an extra step. And so I wanted to make sure that I, in this journey, had both things at my disposal. And so if you want to know more about mental health awareness, you can go to www.nami.org. That is the National Alliance on Mental Health. Do what you can. Mental health matters. Remember to smile. And now our word to the wise. So this week, keeping with the theme of our growing pains and all these things that we are going to go through in life, as relationships shift and dynamics change and all those things that happen as a result of the growing pains, I want us to remember to be consistent, to have consistency. Consistency. It is the key to your success. And I just wanted to give you an actual definition of consistency. So consistency, noun, it is the quality of always behaving in the same way or having the same opinions, standard, etc. The quality of being consistent. And so that is something that I know that I struggle with. I was just telling Mike that I've been working on my website, or been saying I've been going to work on my website for a long time now. And I just haven't done it. I have all the resources available. I have the bio, the about me, the videos, the audio. I have all the things that I need, but I just lack the consistency and with the consistency, the follow through for that. And so I guess now, because I said it publicly, I have to do it. So that I have to hold myself accountable, right? I believe in follow through, but that's just one example of, how not having consistency has, I'm sure, kept me back from certain things, especially if you're a creative. You want to have a website because people want to be able to click. We live in an information age, technology age. People want to be able to click and see who you are, along with your social medias and stuff like that. But if you have an actual website for your brand, people can get to know who you are right then and there, and they can see what you're about, and the diversity of who you are. And so I would urge all of us that in this season to become more consistent. Consistency leads to success, and that starts by just creating a plan. I know we talked about SMART goals the last episode. Follow through with that. Set a standard. Discipline yourself. I'm working on disciplining myself in something as small as getting up every day, Monday through Friday, at least at 5:30 or 6, so that I can go to the gym to work out. Now that, you may say, well, Beau, I can't get up at 6, or I'm too tired. Okay, fine. That's not me. I set my alarm. I'm one of those people who will hit the snooze button 3 times, especially on the iPhone ringer, because that one gets on my nerves. I don't know why I don't change it, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. But I'm making it a goal. I'm going to give it my best effort to set my alarm so that Monday through Friday I get up at least, if not 5:30, 6 o'clock. And that way I'm able to be to the gym within a half hour of that and work out at least 1 hour every day. That is me being consistent. The results, the 6-pack abs are not going to happen overnight. The bigger muscles, the toned body, the clearer skin, the nutrition, it's not all going to happen overnight. But by building consistency over time in those daily habits and daily disciplines, that will be the key to your success, to my success. You're not going to see the results instantly. And I think we do ourselves a disservice because we want it yesterday. We want things yesterday. And I think that's just the nature of the beast in the times that we live in, because everything is so readily available to us at any time. We order from Amazon, we do Instacart, we do DoorDash, we do all those things, which they have its place, of course, they do. But be consistent in many areas of your life. I'm going to be consistent with going to the gym. I'm also going to be consistent in working to finish my website. And that's just a small thing. That is just a small, minute thing. And you will come to see that over time, that consistency, you will start to see things fall into place for yourself that you never thought possible. You will gain a greater respect for yourself. People will notice your consistency because they will begin to see the results even when you don't see them. Something as simple as committing to, reading 10 pages of a book every day. That's something simple that you can do. Or committing to going for a walk every day to clear your head. Just little things. Or committing to cooking your own dinner instead of buying out. In this economy, that is definitely going to save you money, because I feel like we start at a $5 meal, and then it slowly creeps to $6, and then it slowly creeps to $8, and then it goes away, and then it comes back at like a $7 meal, and then it goes to a $9 meal, and then it goes away. So that's not consistent. That was just a personal pet peeve of mine. Sorry, but yes, consistency. Not to be confused with what we normally are is inconsistent. And I just want to give you the definition of what inconsistency means. Well, I thought I had it. Well, essentially, not being consistent. I know that sounds really, really. Means it kind of, there's the discrepancy. Things are not the same. Things are not. They're not similar. They're not alike. They're not done in a similar way. They're not done to a standard. Don't hold me to that. You can look it up on Webster or Oxford or whoever else. But anyway, consistency, self-discipline. Just take small steps, one step each and every day. And I promise you that it will make a difference. If you want to stop smoking weed, take it one day at a time. If you want to stop drinking beer or alcohol, take it one day at a time. If you want to stop swearing, take it one day at a time. Now, those are extremes, not extremes, but those are, exaggerations of things, but you know what I mean. Just become consistent in your behavioral patterns. Build better habits. Build those daily habits that promote change. And as we are going through our growing pains, if you can be consistent in the seasons of your growing pains, you will come out on the other side a better human being. So that's all I have for this week. For this episode of Watch What You Say podcast. You can find me at Beaux Emerson on IG, Beaux Emerson on Facebook, Beaux Emerson on TikTok. Am I anywhere else? Soon I'll be. Oh yes, I'm on YouTube, Beaux Emerson on YouTube. How can I forget that? Say that's what again. See, I have Mike because where I fail, he succeeds. Yes. Also, if you would like to sponsor an episode or would like to have an ad run in our episode, please reach out. You can email me or email us at beauemerson@gmail.com. beauemerson@gmail.com to inquire about possibly getting ads run in our podcast. And we're also introducing a new segment, one of two segments, to the podcast. And the first is called Not My Story to Tell. Not My Story to Tell. And you say, Beau, what in the world is that? Well, this is an opportunity for you to write in and say what you have to say. Meaning, if you would like to apologize to a loved one publicly, you can send that letter in via email, and we will read it on the air live and do the public apology. And feel free, again, anonymous or change names. If you want to, I don't want to say tell somebody off, but if you want to let somebody know, I will read it for you, and so you don't have to do it. So that's just something that not to get more engagement, but to get you all involved, because this is not just about me. This is about us growing together, because what we have to say, our words have power. You know, the Bible and the good book says life and death are in the power of our tongue. And so what we speak matters. When we speak, we create our atmosphere. And so for better or for worse. And so the new segment, Not My Story to Tell, is an opportunity for you to, again, anonymously apologize, or even if you want to apologize, with your real name, that's up to you. I'm not a licensed therapist. We're not held responsible for all that, but we will read it live in the episode. And then also, if you want to, I think we'll call it Let Them Have It. Maybe it'll be Let Them Have It, where you're telling off somebody or going off in a sensible way. But yeah. And stay tuned for some other fun things that are on the way. But with that said, I want to thank each and every one of you who have watched this episode, who've watched the other 5 episodes. Like, share, comment, tell somebody, send it to somebody who is going through and needs to know that, trouble doesn't last always, that God always has your back, that you are stronger than you think, and that your light matters. And so I love you. God loves you. See you soon.